What it do, man? It's 420 Boxing Network. You already know what it is. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get right into it. So, Terence Crawford versus Shawn Porter is going down tonight. They had their weigh-in yesterday. Terence came in 146.4. Shawn came in 146.6. But when I look at both of them, when I look at the body structure, I noticed that Shawn Porter is a little bit more, huskier. He's coming down from a bigger weight, Shawn Porter. He fought at 75 before. Looked like he walk around 175, 180 probably. So you can see that he's fighting down. When he get on the scale, he's dehydrating down. But his body looks strong. Look like he can take the body shots that's going to come. The onslaught of body punches. Whereas Terence Crawford, his body frame is more slimmer. I noticed that during the weigh-in. Terence, he fought at 135. He's coming from 35. So he's a smaller guy coming up. But he's the bigger puncher. So I think that's going to negate Shawn Porter being a bigger guy. But what I want to talk about is this. What style are these guys going to fight tonight? Shawn Porter. If Shawn Porter comes in lunging forward without a jab, I really feel like, which he does in most of his fights, Shawn Porter usually come with a rough and tough style. Even if he comes boxing, he also resorts back to what he do, because that's his nature, is to be a rough and tough fighter. So if you try to come with that rough and tough style with all that lunging forward, I think it's going to be a short night. I really do. I really do. I think Shawn Porter's best bet is to box on the outside. I think he's an underrated boxer. I think his speed is underrated. I think he should box. You know what I mean? Try to make it a slow fight and use the in and out method. Kind of like what Manny Pacquiao does to his opponents, his bigger opponents. Jump in, jump out. You know what I mean? That could upset the rhythm of Terence Crawford. We all know Terence Crawford fights with a rhythm. He's a slow starter, but he gets it going in the middle rounds. But I don't think Shawn Porter would do that. I think he would do that in spots. I think the first couple of rounds he would do that. I see Shawn Porter winning the first couple rounds. But eventually he's going to resort back to the rough and tug it, come forward style. He wants to dictate the pace, Shawn Porter. And I think he will during this fight, but it's going to be to his detriment. I think if he fights that way, he makes too many mistakes. And Terence Crawford is a counterpuncher. Like, I understand that Shawn Porter, yes, he fought everybody. He fought Paulie Malignaggi, the Bertos, the Keith Thurmans, the Ugases of the world. We know that. But has any of those guys, even Errol Spence, have any of those guys been considered number 1 or number 2 pound for pound in the world? Whichever one. I don't think so. I think the best guy he fought was Errol Spence. He had a good fight with Errol Spence, but he got knocked down by Errol Spence and he lost. And Errol Spence, I think, was a number 4 pound for pound, or number 3 at the time. Terence is number 1. So I don't think he's on this level, to be honest. I think Shawn Porter should go to Terence's body and try to break him down, but I don't see that happening. I can't lie. Terence Crawford, he's a counterpuncher. He's going to counter everything Shawn does. And Shawn is not a hard guy to counter. That's the problem. That's why it's an easy fight for me to pick. because Shawn Porter is not a hard guy to counter. If you go look at the Errol Spence fight, Errol Spence could have countered Shawn Porter all night. He tried to, but he was missing by this much. I think Terence Crawford is a much better counter puncher than Errol Spence is. So he's going to get the job done. Those punches, he has more a variety of punches in his arsenal, Terence Crawford, than Errol Spence. You know, Terence Crawford got a right uppercut, a left uppercut. He can switch stances, so the punches is coming at different angles. So I feel like he's going to get Shawn Porter out of there pretty early. I feel like 5-6 rounds. 5-6 rounds max, and I feel like Shawn Porter's out of there. I can't lie. That's just my opinion. When I look at style-wise, Shawn Porter makes too many mistakes that Terence Crawford can capitalize on by him being a counterpuncher, by him being the more skillful fighter, by him being the better boxer. I think all these things are going to come into play. Him having a better footwork. All of these things are going to come into play during the fight. And I think Terence Crawford having the advantage in the skill set department is going to be an advantage for him come fight night. And it's going to help him get that knockout. But see, what's next for Terence Crawford after this fight? I don't know. Everybody's saying Errol Spence, but I don't think Errol Spence is willing to cross the street. Because they use the cross the street analogy, but Shawn Porter's a PBC fighter. He's fighting Terence Crawford, so why can't Errol Spence? That's all I be saying. It's looking like ESPN is willing to fight PBC fighters. I seen Tyson Fury fight Deontay Wilder. Now I'm seeing Terence Crawford fight Shawn Porter. So they're proving that they're willing to fight PBC fighters. But the PBC side, they're not showing that they're willing to fight top ranked guys when it comes to Errol Spence. Because Errol Spence's excuse is the other side of the street. So, man, I think you will be having a Josh Taylor versus Terence Crawford before you see a Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence. I think we've seen with Tank Davis, you know what I mean, and Errol Spence, that they want to stay over there. They're going to keep it in-house. They like to keep it in-house over there. So, hey, what can we do, man? But my official prediction for tonight, I got Terence Crawford by stoppage in the 5th or 6th round. Maybe the 7th. Maybe. 5th, 6th round. He out of there, man. 420 Boxing Network. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. Who y'all got? Shawn Porter or Terence Crawford, man? 420 Boxing Network. I'm out.